Hey guys, so this is going to be my very first bum date video. I don't know how in depth I'm gonna go. I don't know how many weeks I'm gonna get into, but I do want to share everything with you guys. I share bits and pieces through my vlogs. If you guys have not watched them, you number one may not know that I'm pregnant, and number two may not know that I cut my hair. But definitely check out my vlogs. That's kind of where I try to keep you guys updated the most. But yes, I am actually almost 18 weeks pregnant now. I will actually be 18 weeks pregnant in 2 days. So when you guys are watching this, I will be 18 weeks pregnant, and yeah. So anyway, I tried using my nice camera so I could have a really nice sit down video for you guys, really good quality, but I'm having technical difficulties with my camera right now, so I'm stuck using my vlog camera. You guys probably don't even care, but I wanted to put that out there. So a lot of this video is going to be me referring to my phone because I wrote down all of my symptoms in my phone. So you may see me looking down, but that's just so I can let you guys know what's going on. So I'm gonna start at the very beginning and answer a few questions I know I'm gonna get. First being, how long did it take for my husband and I to get pregnant? My husband and I actually stopped preventing pregnancy in June of last year, and I ended up getting pregnant in October. So that being said, in June of last year is when we stopped preventing. It wasn't where we were trying per se. We weren't like calculating ovulation days or anything like that, but we just stopped preventing it. And if it happened, great, because we knew we were leading up to the days where we were ready to start trying. But we kind of wanted to see how nature would do, if nature would have me get pregnant, just not even trying, or just kind of how things would go. So from June to September, we just kind of wanted to see what would happen, and we ended up going on vacation during that time. I was a little bit stressed out during that time. I was not in the right mindset as far as getting pregnant goes. I was a little bit down, like I was in a funk during that time. I just didn't really know where I was going with my career, with YouTube, with so many different things, and my head was just kind of wrapped around so many different things during those months. And so overall my mindset just was stressed and overwhelmed, and not just really in a like happy state of mind. I was happy, but I was just in a funk at the same time. There was a lot of different stuff, like health concerns I was worried about. I wanted to try and lose some weight. I wasn't sure if I could get pregnant. I wasn't confident that I could get pregnant, and I just kind of had like this battle in my head, and I just almost knew I wasn't going to get pregnant just from not trying. And I just did not have like confidence in that. And also there was still some of that fear. So that was kind of another reason why we didn't want to just try right away. We wanted to kind of allow ourselves to get used to the idea of, wow, we're ready to start our family. So during those months, I just did not have a lot of confidence in getting pregnant. I just was like, I hope so. I really, really hope I do. But there was something in my head that just gave me doubt. And so we ended up going on vacation in August and had a great time. It was a great time to really clear our heads. It was from August to September, the beginning of September. Just a really, really good time to just like clear our heads, just have a good time. And it was kind of another way of me knowing that God wasn't ready for us to have a baby, because we almost needed that vacation to get away and enjoy each other for the next month to come. So I ended up getting pregnant the following month. I found out that I was pregnant on October 13th, and so we would have conceived like the very beginning of October, end of September, early October. I think more so the early October time frame. So during that time when we were trying, I did do one ovulation test and it came back negative, and I was like, whatever, I don't care. I know the dates because I have a very regular period. I was like, I know the dates that we should try. Let's just go for it and let's try, and let's actually time things out right and go try during those days. And like during that time, I was 100% confident I was gonna get pregnant. Like in my head, I was like, this is it. I was happy. There was like, I don't know what happened. I think it was just being able to go away for a little bit on vacation and just let all your like, because you're busy working, sometimes you just need to get away to like just enjoy yourself, to kind of get good vibes coming back to you. So I guess just at that point I felt confident and happy and just stress-free, and I just knew during that time, I'm like, I was telling him like right after we had like went through that week, I told him, I was like, I have a feeling I'm going to be pregnant this month. And he was just like, why? Like, nothing's been different. And I was like, well, I just have a different state of mind this month. I feel happy, I feel at peace, I feel excited about life. Like, not that I'm not usually excited, but there was something in me that just was very joyous and very happy and confident, 100% confident. And he was like, okay, whatever. So fast forward to, I believe it was 8 DPO, which DPO stands for days past ovulation. If I say anything that you don't know, definitely look it up. Actually, I go all the way to 4 DPO. That's how confident I was. Like, after that week, I was just like, I know I'm gonna be pregnant. I know, like, just there was so much love too that my husband and I shared. It was just a really good time in our life. There was just so much like just passion there. And so I was like, I just know it. So starting at 4 DPO, I started logging stuff because I just had a strong feeling. This is the only time I've ever logged. I never logged from June up until now. This is when I first started, and I was like, I have to be. So 4 DPO, I had a very strong craving for vegetable medley cream cheese or French onion dip. And it was very weird because I'm not someone who really craves a lot. I just don't get cravings on a regular basis. And so it was very weird for me. I'm like, why am I craving this? Like, it was to the point where I literally had to get in my car and go get this cream cheese so I could put it on a piece of toast, was how serious it was. And then 5 DPO, I noticed I was having hot flashes in both the morning and nighttime, and it really kind of revolved around eating. Like, around breakfast time, I'd have a hot flash like right before breakfast and a little bit after breakfast, and then same thing at nighttime. I did get a little tiny bit of nausea at nighttime. I don't know if that was more nerves or what, but I was a little bit nauseous at nighttime. I had minor sensitive teeth, which is weird. I don't usually get sensitive teeth. And then I was getting vivid nightmares, which, I'll be honest, I do get nightmares quite often. So I don't know. Some of these you just kind of have to take for, I wrote everything down. Who knows what it actually means? You know, like, don't think, oh my God, I had a nightmare tonight, I'm pregnant. You know what I mean? So then 6 DPO, which would have been cycle day 22, I had hot flashes yet again after breakfast. It was like revolving around food. I kept getting these weird hot flashes. I almost felt like a flu was coming on. I just felt weak and tired, and it just didn't feel right. Something was just happening. And then I had a sore throat. I thought I was gonna start my period, which sometimes some women will kind of feel like they're getting a flu right before they start their period. I'm usually not that way. I usually just start and go on with my life. But yeah, I was just having that weird thing. Slight pressure in uterus area, and then minor cramps, which again, you can kind of get those when you're just gonna start your period. So it was kind of just, I didn't know if that was for period feelings or getting pregnant, but there definitely was something. I mean, if I noted it, something was different than my like usual daily activity. And I didn't, also just to throw this out there too, I didn't overthink things. I wasn't like overthinking it. It was just like, well, this is different. So if I have it down, it means it's not normal for me, and it was something that really actually kind of triggered things to be like, wow, maybe I am pregnant. And then 8 DPO, which was cycle day 23, I had lower back pains in the evening. In the evening, I did get some lower back pains, just kind of weird ones. You guys know I used to always have really bad lower back pains, and these were different, almost like cramps in my lower back. It kind of would radiate to the front. It felt similar to period cramps, but at the same time a little bit different. I was a little bit gassy, I guess, and then I had breakouts. I should have said this at the beginning of the video, but if you guys are watching this, there's gonna be a lot of stuff that's TMI. So if you don't want to hear anything TMI, definitely don't watch women's bump date videos, because you're gonna hear stuff that you probably don't want to hear. So just putting that out there, like, I'm being open and honest. So when I say I was gassy, I guess I was gassy. 9 DPO, cycle day 24. Again, this is all before my period was even due. So this is 9 DPO. This is just before my period's due. I had a random stabbing pain in my upper uterus area, and it lasted about 25 seconds. I had read, after this happened, I had read that for some reason, I don't know if it's the implantation process, but you'll get like a stabbing pain, and you can notice it, but not all women do, because they might not be thinking about it. Maybe they thought it was just a quick cramp, something like that. Like, I noticed it. It almost felt like kind of like a stab, and it did actually make me kind of lean over a little bit. I was like, holy crap. And it was like after I had gotten up and I was gonna go get some lunch, I remember writing from my husband being like, that was really weird. And so I don't know what that was. I did read that it could have been implantation. I don't know a ton about that. So about 20 minutes later, I got a weird taste in my mouth, and more saliva, and it tasted like kind of metallic. It was, or metal, is metallic the right word? Kind of iron taste to it, and it was very different. I had never had that happen before. It was very weird, and like the saliva was like thick. It was just weird. That's all I'm gonna say about that. It was strange. I got minor cramps that day. I did have a little bit of dizziness. All of this started after 4 p.m. I noted. On the left side, I had a pain, which is weird because I usually feel a lot of pain even still now on the left side. Not really pain, but like if anything is gonna make like any kind of feeling, it's usually on the left side. So I don't know what that's about, but there's that. I was still gassy and still was experiencing some breakouts. So at this point, again, I don't really have like real, oh my God, I'm pregnant symptoms. I'm not like, yeah, I'm definitely pregnant. I'm just noting what's happening. But on 10 DPO, it was my cycle day 26. It was Friday the 13th, which was October 13th. I woke up that morning and I just remember being like, I'm gonna take a test. And my husband was sleeping and I'm just like, I'm just gonna take a test. And he like, I get out of bed, I wake him up, and I didn't mean to, but me getting out of bed woke him up. And he's like, where are you going? And I'm like, I'm gonna go take a pregnancy test. And he's like, why? Like, your period's not due for another like 4 days. Like, why would you take one? And I'm like, I feel like it. There was just something in my head that was like, I'm just gonna do it. I didn't think it was gonna be positive. I always would see just one line. And I just remember feeling disappointed. And I was like, you know what? I'm used to seeing one line. I'm sure it's just gonna be one line, especially because I'm testing so early. And I just remember being like, there's no way. I'm just gonna do it. And I had the dollar store pregnancy test, the Dollar Tree one. They're pink. I think they're from Assurex or something like that. Those are what I had. I went ahead and took it. I guess I took it at 11 a.m. This was my second morning urine. I had already, I guess, went probably, I think, usually around 7 a.m. I probably would have went. And at 11 a.m., he and I slept in, I guess, that day. Holy crap, I'm embarrassed to share that we were sleeping in till 11 a.m., but I guess we were. I actually got my first positive pregnancy test. I do have a photo of it on here, but I will go ahead and insert it here. This was a very confusing test though, because I remember seeing, like, I remember standing there and I'm like at first I didn't see it and I'm just like, holy crap. And I'm just staring at it. And he comes in so he can use the restroom and brush his teeth and everything. And he just sees me staring at the test. No real expression, like I'm trying not to give it away because I always knew I wanted to kind of surprise him with it. So I'm trying not to give it away, I'm just kind of staring at it. And he goes, well, what is it? And I go, I don't know. And he's like, what do you mean you don't know? So he looks over and he was just like, oh, it looks like it's a negative. And I'm like, okay. And then finally, like, it dried more because when it's really wet, like sometimes it can be a little bit confusing. So at that point it had only been like 2 minutes and I think you're supposed to wait like 3 or 5. And so I was just like, okay, whatever. And then finally, like, it started just really looking like a second line. And I'm like, babe, I'm pretty positive that this is a positive test. And he was just like, he was so excited that he was so afraid to get excited. He was just like, what? And he's looking at it and he's just like, babe, that's such a faint line. I don't think that means positive. I think that might just be, you know, a mistake or something like that. And he just didn't want me to get my hopes up. He didn't want his hopes up. So he just kept saying, babe, I don't know. And that day actually happened to be my brother-in-law's birthday. The following day we went to a baby shower. And so I was like, okay, like, I was a little bit down in the dumps that he didn't believe it was positive. I went ahead and I turned to a forum, like a pregnancy forum, and I asked them, I was like, what do you think this is? And everyone said positive. Everyone's like, that's definitely a positive test, sweetheart. Like, it's positive. You know, just keep testing to make sure the line gets darker. And I'm like, babe, and I told him, I was like, babe, like, everyone's telling me that this is a positive test. And he's just like, all right. And he didn't want to get his hopes up, basically. So that's kind of the first reaction. For anyone who I get questioned of, how did you tell your husband? That's kind of how he found out. It really wasn't anything special. I was shocked I got a positive, number one, but also that it was on 10 DPO. It was 4 days before my missed period. Like, 4 or 5, actually it was 5 days before I missed period. That day I felt very sore in the uterus area. I tried not to overthink it again. I tried not to be like every little thing being like, oh my gosh, I have to write that down. So these were all like very obvious things I felt. I was a little bit foggy headed. I felt different, mild, almost constant cramping, feeling a little bit different than period cramps, which they do. It's more dull. It's not as painful, but they are there. Like, they are kind of cramps, but they're not as painful as like period cramps. They're just more dull and just achy. I had very sore breasts. I had lower back pains, a lot of breakouts around the chin, which I still have throughout this pregnancy. I started experiencing fatigue. I was very warm when I woke up. which again, hot flashes were coming in, series of stabbing pains in different areas of lower abdomen. So pretty much mainly around the uterus area, I was having a lot of stabbing pains. Oh, we went to a festival that day, that's right. So we ended up going to a festival that day. We went with my parents. We weren't ready to tell family yet. We wanted to make sure it was definitely for real. And I got really lightheaded being there. We weren't even standing too long, but I just kept getting lightheaded. And I think it was just maybe a mixture of stuff, but I definitely was getting like lightheaded. And then also I was starting to get a lot of my blue veins already. You get a lot of blue veins when you're pregnant. My whole body is like a big blue vein now, but I already started that early on, which I thought was kind of weird. And then on 11 DPO, we, again, like I said, had a baby shower. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take another test. And this one was way more there. I think I actually took it with first morning urine as well, and it was like second line, boom. By the way, son, it's doing its thing. I'm sorry. Definitely was there. I showed my husband. He's like, wow, yeah, like that's a second line. And even then though, he did not want to get his hopes up. He really was cool, calm, and collected. We kind of would like play around with the idea that we were pregnant, but we just didn't want to get too excited. There's just so many scary things that go into that time. It's so scary to get overexcited during that time. So we didn't want to let ourselves, which is really sad, but we were very excited. Like me, I remember jumping up and down, like I'd go in my bedroom and I'm just jumping up and down, like screaming inside and just being overly excited. But again, it's scary. So he didn't want to overthink it. So I again got the stabbing pains under left rib. Oh, I remember that. I would get pains on the left side, pressure in lower abdomen. They would last for only like 10-15 seconds. And in these bump dates, when I say pains, I don't mean like you're needing to rush to the hospital type of pains. It's just there's no other words for that. It's not like you're gonna kneel over and you have to fall to the floor. It's just pains. It's a feeling. You get like a feeling there, but it's somewhat painful. But again, nothing like terrible. Like your cramps, your period cramps hurt worse than like these types of pains. Again, after breakfast, I felt very warm, cramps the majority of the night, and then weird stabbing pains. Oh my gosh, yes, when on my lower right abdomen, that whole night, I don't know why I didn't mention that, but that whole evening after the baby shower, I was in a lot of pain actually. I can't believe I didn't note that on here. I was in so much pain. I was so sore. I literally felt like I had went to the gym or something. I was so sore, and like my uterus area and like everywhere under like the belly button pretty much, just so sore. And which is kind of weird, but like super duper sore. Again, at 12 DPO, I got another positive pregnancy test, again, darker. I felt very tired after breakfast. I was sore in lower right rib cage, very sore and tender abdomen all day, very tired. And so that again was another day that I was like overly sore. Like I can't even explain. Like I was so sore. My stomach, like if you would just like barely touch my skin, it was like stop, because it hurt. Like I was just sore. I don't even know how to explain it, but I was just sore. And then that day I took a digital pregnancy test. I went out and I was like, let's get a digital test so you can see the word pregnant, because he still at that time was like, I feel like the line's supposed to be darker. And so that's why he thought like maybe I wasn't like, it wasn't a good pregnancy because the line wasn't super dark. And I'm trying to explain like, babe, I haven't even like hit the day of my period yet. And that's another thing that kind of made him confused, is he's like, I thought you're supposed to take a pregnancy test after you miss your period. I'm like, well, yeah, for the women who aren't trying and they miss their period, that's why they take it after their missed period. Like we are trying. So that's kind of why I did take it now, because I thought there could be a chance. So yes, babe, I'm pregnant. Late in the afternoon, I think it's like, we got home around like 2 or 3. I went ahead and I didn't tell him I was going to do it, but I went ahead and I took the test, which was an early morning urine. He thought I was going to take it the following day with morning urine. And anyway, it came back with pregnant. I walked out of the bathroom and I just handed it to him and I'm like, babe, like this is the real deal. And he just was like, oh my gosh. And he got really excited and he's like, babe, like you're really pregnant. And I'm like, yes, I've been trying to tell you for the past 2 days, I'm very much pregnant. And so that's when he started getting a little bit more excited. That's such a joyous time. Like there's nothing more exciting than finding out that you're pregnant. Also, that day, because I knew for a fact 100% I was pregnant, I did a lot of like researching on forums. And if there's anything I could recommend you ladies, don't research, what is this? Is that my hair? Yeah. Don't research too early on. You will freak yourself out. One thing that I learned, and someone had said it like perfectly on one of these forums, is that my hair? What is that my hair? Like, what is that? A lot of women will use the forum as a way to vent and a way to let that pain and anger out. And so don't assume that your journey is going to be the same, because every woman is different. Every woman. Some women do experience loss. Some women don't. Some women do. And everyone's different. And so you have to remember that. And when I was going on the forums, it was stressing me out. I'm like, again, it was taking away the joy. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be so excited because maybe something's gonna happen, and it just really took away the joy. And so that's really hard when you have trouble, like you can't even feel like you should be excited. And so I just kind of learned from literally that early on, don't go on those forums because everyone's gonna be different. Don't ask what happened with them because you are gonna probably be 100% different. Try not to do those forums. They aren't always a good thing. Sometimes they do help you out, but a lot of times it's just a scary thing and it just makes you more stressed out. So that brings us all the way up until 4 weeks pregnant. So these I kind of started doing weekly as we were going along because days were just so similar that there was no point in doing it daily anymore. But yeah, so I was then 4 weeks pregnant, and at that point it was like, yeah, I'm pregnant. All the pains were gone from previous. No more sore abdomen. I was feeling good. I didn't have a big appetite, exhausted. I was starting to feel a little bit more confident, not as scared. I did have some nausea after lunch, and then it said I had first signs of round ligament pains. I don't think that's what they were. I think it still was more like just like cramping and stuff like that. I had shortness of breath. That's when the shortness of breath started. I am 18 weeks and I still have shortness of breath. I kept getting some headaches. I would get like really short headaches, and actually no, only the very beginning did that happen. Like I would get just like short, quick headaches. They were very minor, and then they would put pressure around the ears. I remember around my ears getting a lot of pressure. I'm so shocked this happened so early on because it's something that just kind of has happened most of the time. I got some pressure around my ears and temple. Like anything sinus related, I got a lot of pressure, and I think it's just because your blood flow increases, which does affect like your sinuses. So I think that's what that was about. I felt a little bit more hungry. I was very sensitive to loud noises. Again, headaches kept coming up, and I said that my nipples were a little darker. Again, I don't know if that one was in my head or not. I was having loose stool, and it was very bright in color. I don't quite know what that means and why it was that way, but I mean, I just would wake up to have to do it early in the morning. I don't know if that was my body's way of like throwing up, but it happened. Again, later in the day it happened. I stopped also having caffeine at that point, and I felt amazing. Once I cut caffeine out, I felt so good not having it. And then my anxiety and fatigue were down. I did have some anxiety at the beginning, I think because of caffeine and just overthinking stuff and over-researching. On day 4, I had energy in the morning. Overnight, I had terrible stomach ache and had to get up and eat to take care of it. So yeah, that happens a lot. You're gonna have to probably wake up in the middle of the night and eat to take care of your stomach aches. It says the feeling of being happy makes me feel so much better, because there were times that I was so afraid that it was hard to feel happy. And so I guess I finally got to a place where I felt very happy, and that was great. So around day 5 of week 4, we went to the fair. That's when the nausea started real bad. I was so nauseous. We went to this fair that's really popular for like food, and everything like I wanted to eat, but I was so nauseous I couldn't. There was a few times I had to like get up from being with my parents. Again, my parents didn't know I was pregnant at that point, and so I didn't want to give it away, so I had to keep getting up, and I swore I was gonna have to run to get sick. That was a really bad day. I was very nauseous that day. You're hungry. The problem with it is, and I'll stop there. The problem with it and how it all works is you feel so hungry, but you can't eat anything, is the best way of putting it. That's what I've said since the beginning, is you feel hungry and you know you need to eat, and your body needs stuff, it needs food, it needs nutrients, but every little thing turns you off. The only thing I ate while I was at the fair is I first had some French fries to kind of settle things, to make it to where I wasn't nauseous anymore, and after I had French fries, I felt great. And then a little bit later, I was like, okay, let's go have a burger now. So then I'd eat a burger, and I felt great after that too. But again, being in the sun, and it's still, oh my gosh, there's a cat outside, and I hope the dogs don't see it or they're gonna go nuts. I felt better after the burger though, but that's kind of how the nausea works, is you feel hungry and you need to eat. You have to force yourself to eat or you probably will get sick. It's just kind of how it goes. If you experience the nausea, if you do end up getting morning sickness, which morning sickness actually does not just mean morning. Morning sickness means all day. Also, morning sickness does not mean throwing up. Morning sickness means nausea too. So some women will actually throw up from the nausea, but not all women do. So don't just assume you will. So far, I have been fortunate enough not to throw up, but the nausea is still not your friend. It's still no better. It's terrible. But y'all, like, I haven't even gotten into like this at all. This video has gotten pretty long already, so I'm definitely stopping at week 4, but there's a few things I wanted to know. If you are trying to conceive, because I'm sure there are some women who are watching me, if you're trying to conceive, please, 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 allow yourself to have a healthy mindset. And I am in no way, shape, or form hippie or into any of like that stuff. I don't do yoga, I'm not Zen, I don't meditate, I'm not that kind of person. But honestly, your mindset plays such a huge role in it. It really does. And so if you find yourself getting a little bit nervous whenever you try, or you want it so badly that you almost stress yourself out, chances are it's going to be a little bit harder conceiving. You literally have to have a positive and confident mindset for you to honestly, how I believe, this is what I believe, again, it's just me, I believe you have to have that positive and confident mindset in order for you to actually like produce the eggs that month, to actually ovulate properly, to have your body regulate properly, you know? Like, it's almost like the whole idea of the law of attraction. It's just being confident, like, yes, my body's got this. Like, I'm overweight. I just kind of lost confidence in my body and who I was, like if I'd be able to get pregnant, and I just lost confidence for a while. But when you bring that confidence back, you will be amazed at what your body does, how your body responds, how you act. Like, it just makes a big difference. So honestly, if you are trying to conceive, if there's anything you can take away from this video, it is be confident, be sure, like, this is my month, like, I got this, and mean it. Don't just say it, like, mean it. Be confident, be positive, be happy, be joyful, be at like a peace, and who knows, maybe your body will respond to that and you may see a more positive outcome. And if that does help you, please come back, you know, months from now and let me know if that did help. But that's what helped me. Again, I went from June to September. Technically June, July, August, I could have gotten pregnant, but I didn't. But then come September, I was like, I got this. We're getting pregnant, I'm having this baby, we're doing it. Come September, I say September because that was my last period. So technically, I guess it was more October time. So I guess I should be saying more October. It was like the week of October and September. That's kind of why I say that. So yeah, just be positive and be confident and just be sure. Morning sickness thing, if you're like me, I actually have a fear of throwing up. If you're like me, don't let that stop you from getting pregnant, because being pregnant is not, it's not what you think. Like, I was talking to my husband last night and I was like, pregnancy is different than what I thought. I thought women just threw up for 9 months and felt miserable and got really fat and overweight, which I'm so excited to get a belly, which I'm sure is crazy, but I am excited to get a belly. I have a little one now. If you guys are interested in seeing like the bump, follow me on Instagram. I don't think I'm gonna put them in my videos until I'm farther along. Then I'll start showing you guys my bump. But for now, there's really nothing there. So check out my Instagram and you guys will see it. It's definitely just, it's so blissful. It is so, it's so amazing. Like, it's a really, really good feeling just being pregnant, just like knowing you have your family growing. And I don't want to get too sappy, but like it does, it's great. It's a lot. Even when I was nauseous, it didn't bother me. It was like, bring it. Like, if this means I can be pregnant with my baby and have a healthy baby and have a healthy pregnancy, like, bring it on. But it wasn't like you're miserable the first trimester. If you were to experience morning sickness, you probably will be pretty miserable with zero energy, very tired, but it's worth it. It's so cliche to say, but it is worth it. Anyway, I cannot believe I only got to week 4 for you guys and this video is so long. I am so sorry, but I hope you guys are excited. I promise I will go ahead and film more weeks for you guys and I'll try and get through those a lot quicker, but I wanted to cover the very beginning basis with you guys because things are so different that I'm like, things are so different than the beginning. So I want to make sure I covered like how we knew and what we did and how long we were trying. And I wanted to answer all those questions because I'm sure you guys will have them after seeing this video. So now they're answered for you. But if you guys have any questions, you guys want to send me a message. I love reading messages on Instagram. That's really where I get them the most. Acid reflux is no joke. Definitely send me messages on Instagram. That's my favorite place to get them. I don't see them really on YouTube, so I just don't see them on YouTube very much. Check out my Instagram account and definitely leave a message. This was my first bump date video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, make sure you're following me on Instagram so you guys can keep up with my pregnancy updates there. And I promise you guys I will work on catching you guys up. Definitely check out my vlogs. That's where I am doing more like kind of what I'm going through during that day when it comes to pregnancy. I try to update you guys a little bit in my vlogs. So definitely make sure you're following along there. If there's anyone you know who's pregnant who you think may enjoy these videos, go ahead and share this video with them. And yeah, subscribe to my channel if you are not. Give this video a thumbs up and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.